Let me start by greeting the President of the IAU, Madam Professor Deborah Elmegrin, and the members of the IAU Executive Committee, President of the African Astronomical Society, Professor Thebe Medupi, NRF Board Chair and Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Town, Professor Musa Mushabela, and the NRF CEO, Dr. Fulufelo Nelamonde, our host organization, leaders of the South African National System of Innovation in Higher Education, the Director General of the Square Kilometre Array Observatory, Professor Phil Diamond, members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed my honor and privilege to deliver this address to this prestigious occasion of the International Astronomical Union General Assembly, which is the world's largest body bringing astronomical science across the planet together. This year's assembly is particularly special to us as a country, as it is the first to be hosted on the African continent. And our slogan from the time we first proposed this event to be held here has been, "It's time for Africa." In one of our languages, the Sotho languages, we simply say, "Kinako." It's time. And it is hoped that the conference will showcase the current contribution of African astronomy to global astronomy and its future development. The hosting of this first ever IAU General Assembly on African soil is a great privilege, not only for our country, but the entire continent. On behalf of our President, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, the President of the Republic, and the people of our country, I wish to extend a special South African welcome to all the IAU delegates to South Africa and say you are most welcome. Namugelekile. It is perhaps also fitting at this moment to remind ourselves of the continuities across ancient and modern timescales of African astronomy that predates contact of its indigenous communities with Europeans and which spawned indigenous knowledge in mathematics, physics, and astronomy. Of course, these advances in early African knowledge, as the President of the IAU has indicated, of celestial systems and forces, were closely tied to the survival and evolutionary history of those Africans. For example, the nomadic peoples carefully studied astronomy in order to guide their travel across the desert regions. As part of controlling the Nile Valley and agricultural cycles, the ancient Egyptians studied the skies to predict the world's first 12-month, 365-day calendar. During the 14th century in Timbuktu, in Mali, astronomy was taught as a specialized subject, and scholars came from many parts of the ancient world to study in Timbuktu. The 7,000-year-old stone circle, which the president of the IAU referred to as well, known as Nabda Playa in Egypt, observed the skies, and that has been part of our heritage from time immemorial. Inspired by this history, indigenous astronomy continues to be a major part of our astronomy programs, and it is therefore pleasing that this conference will, amongst others, showcase the Cosmic Echoes, a shared sky indigenous art exhibition. The story of the evolution of modern astronomy in South Africa is an equally fascinating one. Astronomy was institutionalized in South Africa just over 200 years ago with the establishment of the Royal Observatory on the grounds of what is today known as the South African Astronomical Observatory here in Cape Town, which is responsible for optical and infrared astronomy. Radio astronomy began in South Africa with a 26-meter dish built by NASA and placed in Hartlepoor's Hoek in 1961 as a ground deep station used to get data from and sends command to many unmanned US space probes going beyond the Earth orbit. But it was really with the advent of our democracy in 1994 that South African astronomy experienced major leaps on a number of fronts. During the democratic era, 2 major international telescopes were set up in South Africa, which include the 10-meter Southern African Large Telescope, known as SALT, in Sutherland, the largest optical telescope in the Southern Hemisphere. Then there is the Meerkat Telescope in Carnival, which is a precursor to the SKA project. The Meerkat is another amazing achievement on the global science stage, and we wish to thank our international partners, especially Germany, Italy, and China, for their contribution to this project. All these strategic interventions have enabled South Africa to exponentially increase the number of astronomers from 60, and only 5 of them were radio astronomers in 1994, to now about 300 over the last 30 years. This year also, I'm pleased to indicate here, we are launching a new presidential PhD program, which aims to send successive cohorts of students abroad to pursue full-time and split-side PhD studies in reputable, world-class knowledge and innovation institutions, targeted at developing critical skills in areas like artificial intelligence, research, advanced biotechnology, fuel cell development, batteries and other storage, and next-generation mining. I am sure that astronomy and space science will benefit from this initiative. Given the truly internationalist and multidisciplinary nature of these fields. Ladies and gentlemen, our vision is for South African astronomy to become a global hub for astronomical sciences and facilities, as articulated in our national strategy for multi-wavelength astronomy of 2015. Large-scale investment in the Meerkat Square Kilometre Array endeavor, amongst others, and South Africa's growing international ranking and partnerships in astronomy is characteristics of this growth and expansion of astronomy in our country. The Meerkat SKA project in particular offers us an opportunity to contribute to the knowledge and economy and the big data revolution through international collaborations and the pursuit of world-class research, thereby driving transformation and human capacity development. The SKA is the flagship frontier science partnership of the 21st century, and South Africa remains fully committed to it. I would like to congratulate Professor Diamond on the outstanding progress being made in progressing construction of the SKA here in South Africa and Australia. It is certainly a key commitment of this government's 7th administration to ensure that we empower our continent with high-speed research networks, computational technology and cloud infrastructures as part of preparing Africa for the challenges and opportunities of the 21st century astronomy. I'm sure COVID-19 has taught us an important lesson. No part of the world will be able to develop sustainably if other parts of the world are left behind. The attempt, for instance, by some countries to hoard vaccines could only contribute to COVID being recirculated even back to those countries if COVID-19 wasn't tackled globally. In fact, that should be our approach to science today. And astronomy is a very important platform through which we can do that. social legitimacy and sustainability of African astronomy, we recognize how crucial human development is to ensure next generation of technical, engineering, basic and applied scientific skills underpin expansion of our infrastructure. Therefore, as we say, through my department, it ain't science unless it is truly global. I wish to record my special thanks to both Sao and Sarao and their sites in Sutherland and Carnarvon in their remarkable work supporting training of technicians, telescope operators, astronomers, engineers, data scientists, and administration professionals. I'm very pleased also that our Department of Science and Innovation is working closely with the Department of Tourism, led by my colleague, Ms. Patricia Tilid, our Minister of Tourism, in developing the astrotourism sector through community public-private partnerships in remote parts of South Africa. We would like many of you to come back to South Africa as science tourists, which is something very important for our continent. I'm also delighted, as it has been indicated, that this month, in August, we as a country are celebrating women who stood out bravely to fight against apartheid. The fact also that today we have two African-American women astronauts, Dr. Sian Proctor and Dr. Maya Jamison, who will be giving public talks and engaging in outreach projects with school learners, is particularly significant for us as South Africa, and especially for women of our country and women globally. There will be also, I'm very pleased, a dedicated program on the 9th of August, which is National Women's Day, as part of this event as we commemorate Women's Day by celebrating the remarkable contributions of women in science and astronomy. It ain't science unless women are centrally involved. I can say this confidently because I call myself a mama's boy. Having been brought up in a woman-headed household from age 12. I know that without women in society, in communities, globally, our societies won't make progress. The African Astronomical Society has also got a dedicated program for women in astronomy through the African Network of African Women in Astronomy. And this year, the International Astronomical Union of Women in Astronomy will be holding a joint session with their African counterparts at this General Assembly. This session also aims to facilitate discussions amongst astronomers on gender issues and policies supporting the career of women researchers engaged in international mega projects located in Africa, such as the Square Kilometre Array, amongst others. I would also like to recognize the efforts made by the IAU Office for Astronomy Development and the African Astronomical Society, both based in Cape Town, in supporting other African countries to take advantage of opportunities in astronomy. That is why when we say we are hosting this General Assembly as South Africa on behalf of the African continent, we mean it. It's not just an empty slogan. We are working together with the African Astronomical Society, and we've made sure also that we invite other African astronomers to be part of this important gathering. Because as South Africa, we always believe we are not an island in an African continent. We are an integral part of the African continent. The organizing committee of the 2024 General Meeting has also announced that over 3,000 abstracts were submitted, which is an impressive number for such an event, and certainly offers an opportunity to share new sources of data and evidence, to test through experimental work the explanatory value of the theoretical models developed in recent years. I was doing some interviews earlier today. I must say it has also just increased. I'm a first language Zulu speaker. My Zulu vocabulary to try and explain what astronomy is in isiZulu. So that's one big achievement of this particular conference. The abstracts that you are having here cover a wide array of exciting topics based on the empirical results derived from new missions and surveys of different parts of the cosmos, including remarkable data coming from the Meerkat Radio Telescope and James Webb Space Telescope. In conclusion, I wish to thank the IAU for entrusting South Africa with hosting this prestigious gathering and all the teams which contribute to the organization. This gathering reflects the global astronomy community's commitment to advancing research, fostering collaboration, and addressing contemporary challenges in astronomy and those faced by humanity. Professor Nelomondo, you might have said it in passing. Indeed, it is important that astronomy, just like all of natural science, it ain't complete science unless and until it interacts with humanities and social sciences as well. And it is very important because our own philosophy, again, as the Department of Science and Technology and Innovation, we say, it ain't science unless it is multidisciplinary. Because we can't break up societies into biomedical sciences, into astronomical sciences, into psychology, and so on. We are all these things in one. And there is no better discipline to lead by example on this than astronomy. I wish you productive and exciting deliberations and look forward to the outcome of the 2024 International Astronomical Union General Assembly. I thank you very much.